uh, why we are here. Yeah, so I have some open questions. We can. So this is what we're going to be covering. There are four sections to this. Are you able to? Is this visible from back there? We were debating on bringing this to the center. There were some pros and cons. We'll discuss it after the lunch. Yeah. Uh, so we'll take up some important questions of life. We'll talk about that. I'll try to describe what human living is like, and we'll then move on to understanding, some basic questions. So the grayed out sections will become dark as you proceed. So we'll just proceed with this. We'll take the introduction as part of these open-ended questions. So we have some questions there. The first one that I have there is, why are you here? Why did you come here? Maybe you can take turns answering that, and along with that also introduce yourself, and maybe end with why you ended up coming here. A brief introduction. We think people want to listen to who we are and our stories. Actually, nobody is interested. People are more concerned with their own selves. किसी को चांस दे दिया अपने बारे में बताओ, 2 घंटा शुरू हो गया ना, बंद ही नहीं हो रहा है कि बाबा इतना भी मत बताओ ना, थोड़ा कम कर दो. So a brief introduction of who you are, where you are from, what you do, and what really brings you here. Some of you have taken an overnight bus. These people drove overnight from Bombay. Theirs was the toughest journey. Some of you have come from far off, from Odisha. Yeah, so a little bit about who you are and why you're here. Yeah, where do we start from?
In an agricultural background, I'm from again a different place in Tamil Nadu. I worked for almost 15 years in IT. And throughout this journey, I had many questions. So I started exploring alternative aspects on health first, and then it went on. When I had my child, it went to education. So and then what is the purpose of my life? So in this entire process, I think I have a lot of conflicts within my family. So probably that is why I'm here for this workshop. My son Maitreya is 7-year-old, and currently he's homeschooling. So I quit my job last year, and we moved to a smaller town. That's a spiritual town, so I'm spending some time there now. So yeah, want to know about others as well.
Hello everybody, I'm Anchal from Bangalore. I didn't know much about this. We are now giving our voluntary services to Om Shanti Dama, which is in Mekedatu. There are there's a Vedic Gurukula running there. So we offer our services there. So yeah, from there we got to know about this. And my husband has been to that MK, yeah. So yeah, like I didn't know much about it, but everybody said it is very nice. So I am here. The introduction was great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hear and absorb everything. Thank you so much.
Of Jeevan Vidya in Gujarat. Thank you.
Namaste. This is Jogesh Aswani from Bangalore. And we are connected with the Gurukula, as my wife has introduced herself. And we try to spend a lot of time there. And our secretary, Satyavrata ji, he one day informed me about this program and suggested to attend this program. So we are here. Let's see what we can take. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm Sahil. I'm coming from Mumbai. My education has been in Mumbai, and ended up becoming an engineer. Worked with IT for a couple of years, but during the work time, I think there was some calling for education or to do something for the society. So
could not take risk in my life. I usually adopted the norm, whatever the parents wanted, I did that, and I was not satisfied. But I couldn't take a big risk like nursing Maya. So I was a regular seeker to find the fact, to find the reality. I have not found in my whole school career, college career, even other professional trainings. I have never got that, and I have tried everywhere. And to some extent, I understand. I am convinced that whatever education I have got, it is of no use. Why? Because it is limited to earn the livelihood only. But beyond that, I have not found anything. I have not found my life meaningful, even now. So still I am seeking the truth. And as my profession, to tell something about one or two lines, after retirement, I am now teaching psychology in a medical college, and I have found also that our heritage, our own Vedic philosophy is much greater and intense in all respects, and the modern psychology is very limited to my understanding, my knowledge. So I have come here to get some answers in my life. Why I am, as a being, I am here on this earth. That's a great question. I want to be solved and searching many places, not only here only. There are many places I am trying still. So thank you very much being with you all, and especially with Nursing Bhaiya, because he is a resource person and he is of faith. He has experimented his life from many aspects. So with thanks to everybody, I eagerly wait to get my answers if possible. Thank you all.
Shall I come to the front? Because unless I look to the audience, that energy doesn't come. No. Thank you. Sure. Namaste, everyone. As we are quite familiar with the body and the self, so I should say that the name of the body is Subhash, belong to Bhubaneswar, Odisha. My background in thank you. I am comfortable. Basically, I'm a mechanical engineer with specialization in railway engineering. I took voluntary retirement from railway services 11 years prior to my superannuation. I have studied in the traditional way of education system. I have studied physics, chemistry, mathematics, economics, industrial management, fluid mechanics, strength of materials. I am also a practicing naturopath, so I have studied a little bit about pathology, anatomy and physiology, and some spiritual literature also. And finally, I came across the contents of Jeevan Vidya on the screen of my laptop in 2020 when the corona was at its peak. That actually became a turning point in my life. I felt that whatever I have studied earlier during my educational career, everything has become secondary, and the only subject that is going to really help me in my living, that is the content of Jeevan Vidya. So that actually became gradually intense within me, and the passion towards this Jeevan Vidya content became more and more in due course of time. Then I got connected with the universal human values that is being conducted, as Sriram Bhaiya told, that is being launched by All India Council of Technical Education, AICTE, and in collaboration with UGC of Government of India. and I completed successfully the USB 1 and USB 2 online. And I also decided to attend and completed successfully the Jivan Vidya Parichaya Shivir twice at MCVK Indore with Som Bhaiya, and one Shivir at the other one, MCVK, that is Ajay Bhaiya, and two Shivirs, introductory Parichaya Shivir with Som Bhaiya, one at Nagpur and one at Ahmedabad, where Anju Diti was one of the volunteers taking the leading role. So I am really lucky that again we are meeting here, and I have heard a lot of things, good reputation about Sriram Bhaiya across the country during my moment in different assignments of Government of India. After my retirement, I have been engaged by Government of India in an autonomous ministry, that is DOPT, Department of Personnel and Training, Government of India. That actually works for the training policy formulation, training design, training delivery, training assessment, and finally certification of government officers, and particularly those officers who are directly associated with the training function of almost all the ministries or departments of government. And one of the most attractive and challenging tasks given by this DOPT, Department of Personnel and Training, is to teach or to train the adult officers who are employed under ministries, different governments, state governments, to teach them in the form of managerial games. And only 4 or 5 such nominated persons are there in our country. Luckily, I am one of them who are engaged in the process of development or design of managerial games. Those games are utilized for enhancing the knowledge and skill components of the managers, officers, and executives without formal way of teaching, without directly lecturing or delivering some theoretical input. So I hope this workshop, this particular Jivan Vidya Shivir, will certainly deepen my experience in the journey of self-exploration, and I can enrich myself so as to find a meaningful existence in this whole nature. So once again, on behalf of all the participants, thank you, Sriram Bhaiya. I am really very confident, and I believe that you can enrich me to the desired extent. Thank you once again.
सबको नमस्कार. मेरा नाम I am K.S. Patil. Earlier, I served in the Indian Air Force for 15 years. After that, about 22 years, I served in the LIC of India. Currently, I am doing organic farming. I am totally contented in my life. I am a resource person to my known people. I want to be of some use to my village, native village. I am from Dharwad only. Dharwad is my place where I am brought up. I am staying in Dharwad now. Now, my time, energy, money is being utilized properly. I have no any dissatisfaction. Presently, I am going through a phase how I have to leave the body. I am how to face the death or what happens after death. This is haunting me. I am exploring different views. Some in Jain philosophy, they tell that for 40-50 days they keep reducing the food intake and they leave the body. What are the best ways? What are the better ways to leave the body? How to face the death? Because after death, we don't know. It keeps haunting. It haunts everyone in different phases of life. Now, I want to face it confidently. This is the purpose of my attending this workshop. I am totally blessed to have such a wonderful participants here and facilitator also. I'm the happiest person on the earth as of now. This is my feeling. Only thing that how I should progress here from here onwards. This is why I am here. Okay, thank you everyone.
So I have like since childhood also like as my husband has told that we were already seeking truth and all things. Yeah, I had an environmental background. I and then entered education, sustainability and all those concepts were there since because I had an education in environment only. So after that, doing research and all, then coming back to education is like coming giving back to students what we had achieved in our life or whatever we have learned, so that gives us immense pleasure. Apart from that, I'm here because yes, of course, my husband had come earlier and he had introduced me to the same concept, and I want to know, I mean, wherever there is purity, I would be there. So if there is an environment which will help me to be in a pure environment, I would always be a part of it. So that's the only thing. So yeah, I look forward with our facilitator and all the participants. Thank you.
I am from Delhi, but currently based in Bengaluru. I work as an educator, and by education, I have biomedical science and environmental studies. I have worked in the social sector for almost about 8 years, and I have always had an inclination towards society, towards serving, and I was doing whatever I could do as individual. But somewhere deep, I was not satisfied. There were some conflicts within at family level, which I was trying, but was not fully able to resolve myself. I also used to study books, newspaper. I used to fund articles, and wherever I could get the inspiration, I used to go there. And 2021 during COVID, I got in touch with Jeevan Vidya first. I went to Manav Teeth, attended a youth camp, and then after that, one more introductory Parichay Shivir at Nargol, Gujarat. So these two Shivers got me a basic understanding. And also I had developed confidence and belief that yes, this is something I believe in and which would help me. But then, of course, as time passed by, I wanted there was not much of continuity, so I am here to again rebuild the knowledge, which will help me. One basic reason is that uh, somewhere I feel that my identity and my well-being uh, are the areas where I want to work more, and I want to get as much as from this Shivir to help me with that. Thank you.
I will also introduce myself here. Namaskaram. Myself Suraj. I am working as a software test engineer in IT company. This is my first workshop in my life. I have no clue what's happening here. I just came blindly blank. So I have no idea what's going to happen for next 10 days. And I have been never a part of any philosophies or any spiritual or anything. I'm a happy living guy, materialistically happy. Never a search of my soul or purpose. I don't bother also any of those things. If I get to know, fine, okay, cool. Like that. Not bother about death or after death. Nothing like that. It's none of my business. Actually. So, I just want to live. That's all. And I am excited to meet a lot of people in different leagues. So, I'm glad I'm here. Thank you.
सभी को प्रणाम। मेरा नाम संजीव कुमार पाटिल है। माय नेम इज संजीव कुमार पाटिल। बेसिकली आई एम फ्रॉम बीजापुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्लेस। in northern part of Karnataka. I moved to Dharwad in 2003. Before moving there, I used to work as a physics lecturer in junior colleges. I used to teach physics to the students. I worked almost for 11 years. Fortunately, my service was not regularized, and all the 11 years went into 100. But during my teaching period, I had a lot of curiosity about how to take the subject to the students. So in that process, I started developing my own working models in my home. I used to uh, have a lot of small kind of laboratory or a workshop kind of thing in my house, and I used to design and build the low-cost teaching models so that I can demonstrate whatever I was teaching in classroom. So that helped me a lot, and it took me to a greater level. So once I knew that my service was not going to be regularized, someone gave me the hint that you have a very good skill of designing and developing teaching aids. Why don't you convert that to a profession? That clicked me very well, and I started manufacturing the teaching aids which are related to physics. From 2003 onwards, I started working on that. By the time I got married and my son was born, in 2003 to till now, I am engaged with manufacturing of scientific instruments, which is under the name of Tarang Scientific Instruments, wherein I am manufacturing instruments related to physics and mathematics subjects so that we can teach whatever, we can demonstrate whatever we teach in a classroom from 8th standard to 12th standard. And I am supplying instruments throughout India. It's going fine. And during pandemic period, it was the rest period. The schools were closed suddenly and things started changing. And now, again, it is, I'm getting inquiries and we are reworking on that. So during this process, interestingly, to exhibit my products, I had been to Timbuktu Collective under the banner of Learning Network. Again, same with Asha organization. So there, I came to know that the work done by Timbuktu Collective was very fascinating. So the area is such a beautiful area. It receives very less rainfall. And those people have tried to regenerate the biodiversity in that area, that much of rainfall. The speciality of that place, which I still remember, is that they have a common toilet. They have 4 walls and a door, but they don't have a roof for that. I was very curious, and I checked with them why you have not put up the roof there. And the answer was very much astonishing. We have never had an occasion where we will be there in the toilet and we'll have to keep an umbrella with us. And therefore we have not fixed a roof for the toilet. They are open. On the top they are open. मतलब छाता पकड़ के हम टॉयलेट में बैठे और बारिश आए, ऐसा संभव हुआ ही नहीं 30 साल में. इतना कम बारिश होता है. उतनी कम बारिश में पेड़ लगाना और बायोडायवर्सिटी क्रिएट करना, ऑर्गेनिक प्रोड्यूस करना चैलेंजिंग है अपने आप में. तो 4 days which I spent over there, very fantastic. वहाँ जो खाना वहीं पे उगाया हुआ खाना, वहीं पे पकाया हुआ खाना, no telephones, no televisions, no newspapers. It was fantastic life. So that's something. कीड़ा अंदर जाता है बोलता ना, तो घुस गया. जब धारवाड़ वापस आके देखो तो इतना तो यहाँ तो बहुत बड़ी बारिश होती है. यहाँ तो आराम से पेड़ लगा सकते हैं. So I started searching in that direction. During that process, I also came to know about the side effects of the endosulfan, which was happening in Kasaragod, to some of the series of lectures organized in Dharwad. So, pesticide use करने से जो भी side effects हो रहे हैं उससे क्या हो रहे हैं, then that struck me very, and during that process or during that period, when I checked with local farmers who used to bring vegetables to sell, and when I checked with them, they are also using endosulfans. I was horrified. What I am eating? Literally, we are eating pesticides. Then I started working with some of the good people who are in Harvard who are into organic farming, how they are growing and what they are growing. Can I participate in that? And in that process, for the 2 years, I worked with some people and I started, I learned growing vegetables successfully. I grew it. But again, I could not get a piece of land permanently so that I can work continuously on that. Somewhere there were fear in the people that if I start working with them continuously, I may snatch their land. So then I started searching for land to grow. And the rules were such that I was not in a position to own a land. तो कानूनी ऐसा था कि मैं जमीन खरीद नहीं सकता था. So for that again I applied for an assistant commissioner to grant me a permission to purchase the land so that I can grow my food. So finally I got a permission in 2012 and I purchased 1 acre land. I started working on that. तो उससे पहले बहुत सारे लोगों से भी मिल के आया था. उसमें एक बड़ी हस्ती है भास्कर सावे. I visited him in 2009 and I've seen his experiments and how he was growing, what he was growing. So when I started working on my own land, so in 1 year I could complete whatever was required there. Plantation complete हो गया, paddy growing शुरू हो गया, then water harvesting का काम हो गया. I started living on the land. Weekend पे मैं जाता था, वहीं रहता था. तो कंपोस्ट टॉयलेट भी बनाया था मैंने उधर, वो भी काम चल रहा था. So in 2013 I came across Jivan Vidya. So it was first happening in Mysore. It was a 3-day workshop and it was organized by one of the school called as Arivu School. And I was in connection with that Arivu School. Directors were in connection with me regarding the scientific instruments demonstration and all of that things. They invited me to attend the workshop and just checked with them that what is the content of the workshop. And they briefed me that we know how the animals behave when we confront them. But it is very difficult for us to know how a human being behaves, even though we are living with them every day. So that again created a lot of curiosity in me. So I went over there and attended 3-day workshop. After a 3-day workshop, and I realized that I'm in the same direction. But the 3 days were not sufficient for us. Coming back again from there, I, along with Santosh and Dr. Sanjeev Kulkarni, went back to Vinish Gupta and requested him to take complete 7-day workshop so that we'll get all the contents. He agreed, and again, the same year, I attended second workshop with him. So, myself was very much convinced that I am going in the right way, whether the family members are not in agreeing with me or not. मैं जो कर रहा था उसके लिए वो लोग सब लोग सोच रहे थे कि मैं गलत ही कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन मुझे समझ में आया कि मैं सही कर रहा हूँ. So it went on, and in 2015 again I attended Jivan Vidya with Vinish Gupta full fledged. I got clarity what I am doing, why I am doing. So I was continuing with that, and in this process I changed my lands also to do more experiment with more lands. So finally I was working 4-acre lands near Dharwad, and I designed it according to permaculture principles. And one thought while designing is that I should grow everything on rainwater harvesting. So that became very successful. And I planted about 10,000 plants in 4-acre land just on rainwater harvesting without watering artificial. So that farm is working fine now. All the fruits are coming up. So I could grow all of my family needs, most of it. You can, in terms of percentage wise, you can call it as 70% of it. I used to grow paddy, I used to grow ragi, some pulses, vegetables, fruits. I was completely enjoying all that process. Every day morning I used to look after my office, and in the afternoon I used to visit the farm and work with the farm. And एक इच्छा ऐसा भी था कि the vegetables which I grow should contribute to the Jivan Vidya workshop also. So the first time when I started growing in 2016, In the September, we had a workshop here itself. So I contributed vegetables to workshop also. So that was very pleasing. इतने सब होने के बावजूद भी परिवार में ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैं गलती कर रहा हूँ पता नहीं क्यों मतलब और भी मतलब तीव्रता बनी कि क्या सही है क्या गलत है, तो मैं क्या गलत कर रहा हूँ। जब भी समाज में प्रस्तुत होता हूँ तभी भी मुझे गलती साबित कर रहे थे लोग, क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है, तो थोड़ा दुविधा तो थी अंदर। तो सिचुएशन ऐसा बनी कि जो 6-7 साल से मैंने इतने पैशन से जमीन से जो भी कार्यक्रम लगाया था, तो वहां जाके रहने के लिए जो कार्यक्रम बना रहा था, तो उसको भी बाधा आ गया। सिचुएशन compelled me to sell that land also. So I decided to sell that land and again purchase the land near my native in Bijapur. In 2020, from 2021 onwards, I started working on that land. Now I have 9 acre land near Bijapur. It is a dryland area where the rainfall is very less. I was curious to see how the permaculture, dryland permaculture designs work over there. And I have done all the water harvesting works and now things are coming up slowly over there. Right now, 3,000 plants are coming up over there. I have a dream of planting about 30,000 plants over there. This year I had planned for it, but because this year we have not received any rainfall, it didn't work out. Hope next year I will do it. In the meantime, now I had a lot of time. I started exploring more, and once again I discussed with Dinesh. He said that you have attended my 3 workshops, you don't get more content now, you go ahead. And he suggested me to go to Ganesh Batalia. And in the September, at the end of the September of this year itself, I attended Madhyastha Darshan Sarasatra Shivir with Ganesh Batalia. So it was very nice to be there and to learn a lot of things. And after that 15 days workshop, now they have follow-up sessions. And, they are helping us to understand more about the self, what I am, why I am, and what is my purpose. तो इसमें थोड़ा क्लैरिटी तो अभी बन रहा है, तो बन रहे अनुमान भी बन रहे कि सही है, तो अच्छा लग रहा है। इसी बीच में एक इच्छा ऐसा भी बन रही कि आई एम विलिंग टू टेक दिस कंटेंट इन कन्नड़ा आल्सो, तो उसके लिए भी कुछ काम करने के लिए इच्छा जागृत हुई। तो इन द मंथ ऑफ अक्टूबर again there was a workshop in Atmi University by Yogesh Shastri, and it was faculty development program, ऐसा कुछ था। तो the person who attends that can be eligible to teach in engineering colleges, जीवन विद्या, ऐसा कुछ मुझे मतलब समझ में आ गया, तो इसलिए I went over there also. I attended that, and again it is a purchase shivir itself. So they combined a faculty development program as well as purchase shivir, दोनों मिला के वो कर रहे थे, तो भी अच्छा लगा। तो कंटेंट ज्यादा ही मिला, मतलब विनीश गुप्ता से जो अटेंड करा था वो कंटेंट छोटा ही था, तो बीच में मैं मध्यस्थ दर्शन गया तो पूरा कंटेंट मिल गया, तो बीच में वापस योगेश शास्त्री से अटेंड किया तो परिचय शिविर में जो भी पूरा रखना था वो पूरा रख दिया, तो क्लैरिटी तो पूरा बन गया। तो जीवन क्या है, शरीर क्या है, निभाना कैसे है, तो इसमें पूरा क्लैरिटी है। तो अभी जो भी संदर्भ आती है, सिचुएशंस आती है, वहां जिम्मेदारी पूर्वक प्रस्तुत होना ये थोड़ा समझ में आ गया। पहले तो कन्फ्रंट हो जाता था, तो विरोध में जाता था, आप लोग ऐसा क्यों करते हैं, ये अच्छा नहीं है, सही नहीं है, मतलब ऐसे विरोध में ले जाता था। अभी वो पूरा बंद हो गया है, आपको जो करना है करिए, मुझे जो करना है मैं करूंगा, तो इतना तो आ गया है वो भी समझ में आ रहा है। तो ऐसे बहुत सारे सिचुएशंस अभी आ रहे। रिसेंटली आई हैड एन ओकेजन टू अटेंड माय सिस्टर्स डॉटर मैरिज, तो वहां तो पूरा नजर में आ गया। तो जो बाहर हो रहा है, जो मैं चाह रहा हूँ, वो तो अलग ही है, पूरा दुनिया ही अलग है, लेकिन मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता। जो हो रहा है उसको होने देते हैं, तो 2 दिन चुपचाप वहां उपस्थित रहा खाली शरीर के हिसाब से, तो बाकी तो चिंतन अलग ही चल रहा है। तो ऐसे चल रहे हैं। तो इस शिविर में आने की एक वस्तु है, इसको और थोड़ा जान ले, और गहराई में जान ले सेल्फ को, उसके साथ साथ इसको कन्नड़ में कैसे ले जा सकते, वो भी एक इच्छा है। तीव्रता भी है, और ऑडियो वीडियो जो सुन रहा हूँ उसको कन्नड़ में भी ट्रांसलेट करके लिख रहा हूँ, तो गौरी दीदी के साथ मैं वो शेयर भी कर रहा हूँ। इस जर्नी को आगे बढ़ाना चाहता हूँ। जैसे श्री राम भैया ने कहा ना, आजीविका के लिए कुछ करके आ जाओ वापस। अभी मुझे आजीविका के लिए कुछ करना नहीं है, सब व्यवस्था है, सुव्यवस्थित है, चल रहा है। तो पूरा अभी बाकी जो शरीर यात्रा है, तो इसको कन्नड़ में ले जाने के लिए और इसको इस विस्तार में, तो नॉर्थ कर्नाटका रीजन में इस विषय को लोग जानते नहीं, इसको ले जाने के लिए जो भी प्रयास हो सकता है मैं वो करने के लिए इच्छुक हूँ। धन्यवाद।
We'll do this after lunch, perhaps. We'll allow them to feed us first, and if they feed us well, then we'll take that. It's yeah. We'll do it at 2 o'clock. Yeah, and also because it was a smaller group, we felt we can do the introductions. Usually, if there are more participants, we take 10 introductions at a time and then keep proceeding and then come back for 10 more, because sometimes it can tend to get monotonous. Also, a lot of names and a lot of information to take in, and like our friend here, Suraj, no? Which company are you in? Okay. हाँ, अनाउंसमेंट अभी करना है, जस्ट ब्रेक करने के पहले कर लेते हैं। क्या टाइम है अभी? हाँ, 1:30 है ना, so we'll do it just before breaking. Yeah. So it's interesting when you listen to other people. One part of the learning in the session is not just the content and the reflection that we'll get to have, but also just being in the midst of a very diverse. You can see in a very small group of about 16, 18 people. Somebody wants to live, somebody's figuring out how to go, somebody's figuring out what to do while I'm alive, and it makes us sometimes wonder, when I remember when all these questions kind of came up in my mind, and I thought, okay, there are so many of these issues in the world, and what can I do about them? And I realized that there are so many issues that one lifetime is not enough to solve all of them. So the plan that I made was, okay, I feel like reading a lot of books. I'm going to give myself 10 years to read books. 10 years I'll work on environment. 10 years I'll work on education. I used to like traveling, so I thought I'll travel. I'll earn some money and travel for 10 years. Maybe 10 years work for peace, and then one day it'll be time to go. Yeah, so that's the 60-year plan that I like. Indian government has a 5-year plan, the planning commission. So I made like a 60-year plan for my own life. And it's one of the things that occurred to me then, which I didn't have an answer to, was it seemed that everything that I was doing with my life, and I'm sure all of you would feel the same, was so much dependent on where we are born, the house that you're born into, the religion that you're born into, that particular place, that Baju, Usi Gali mein, if you were born in the neighboring house, your life would have been totally different. If you had gone to a different school, things would have turned out differently. If the economy was different, if the RBI changed the exchange rate the day you graduated, maybe you would not get a job or you would get a job. If Trump attacked Korea, maybe there would be no jobs. So everything was so kind of in flux. I wondered what my life would be if I had been born. I imagined this, back then in 2002. What life would be like had I been born 200 years ago. And I found I didn't have an answer. Because the number of problems, the kinds of problems that we have today did not exist 200 years ago. There was no environmental issue, there was no nuclear war, there was no pesticide, everybody was an organic farmer, there was no chemical farming. Aap karte kya? So I realized that if I take away the problems from the world, I don't know what to do with my life. Either you're living to, you're earning to make a living, or you're trying to fix some problem. But what if you imagine a world where there is no problem? Then what is the meaning of life? And then there is no answer. Right? So, and also when we kind of configure our life around trying to fix a problem, I joked at that time, I just take it lightly. I didn't kind of meet Medha Patkar. She's a well-known name of a lot of people here. That maybe, it was at the forefront of the Narmada Bataw Andol. Abhi to ban gaya. So it's called the Sardar Sarovar Dam. उसका पानी भी अच्छा है. I've drank the water and seen Narmada river का पानी है, dammed. Um, but I was wondering, what if the government agrees and says, "ठीक है, we won't build a dam"? What will she do? Life's purpose is over, right? What if the government? So when you're fighting against a dam, you assume that you will not win. So then that problem has to exist for you to continue to fight. But if Narendra Modi suddenly, अच्छा ठीक है मैंने बात सुन लिया ना, चलो no dam. Now what will you do? So there has to be some more stable kind of meaning, and when we hear people around us, it helps broaden our perspectives. One of the things we'll see as we proceed is that we're thinking beings. We're not here just to survive, because animals are anyway surviving. What do you think? Do you think animals are better at surviving than us, or are we better than animals? Animals are better than us at surviving. But who studies whom? Do we study animals, or do animals study us? Both study. Who's writing books about whom? Are animals writing books about us, or are we writing books about animals? We're writing. We're good at they're good at communication. Yeah, like a barking. My neighbor's doggy keeps communicating something through the entire day. I have a neighbor. All of us have neighbors. I have a neighbor with a dog. Maybe with a big dog. Yeah, he's been about 4 years since he got that dog. I find that dog just does not understand. 4 साल हो गया. He still does not figure out that I'm the neighbor and I'm not going to do anything. He'll continue to bark at me even when he cannot see me. The guy has put up a big fence, right? And the dog cannot see outside, but it will bark at everything that passes by. So who do you think understands more, humans or animals? Like I see you the first time and I think pata nahi kya karega. He may bark, he may bite, right? But then after spending, let's say 3 or 4, 5 minutes with you, we kind of settle into comfort zone. Fine, okay, this guy is safe. Right? I mean, it's good to be around this person. Eh? You can leave your phone here. You are kind of confident that nobody's going to pick up something. So we learn. You think animals are that fast at learning? No. So animals seem to exhibit certain kind of behavior, and humans exhibit a different kind of behavior. But when it comes to capability, you see that we are more capable. We are able to understand, which is why we are teaching our children about animals. There are no schools in the animal kingdom teaching other animals about humans. That doesn't. So we are able to learn, we are able to cognize information. But when it comes to surviving, right, we seem to have a tougher time. Pani nahi hai, bhook lag rahi hai, it's not hot enough. And then we have preferences, right? I want tea with less sugar, I want tea with more sugar, I have tikka tea, I have coffee, I have black coffee. So the human being is a different entity, although there are a lot of similarities between us and animals. We find that as thinking beings, this thinking aspect of us kind of overrides the material or the physical aspect. Like even sitting here, we're not sitting here because we are hungry or we want to earn money or you want to grow your bank balance. No. You're here because there is some curiosity. I mean, of course, Surat said he accidentally arrived here. Did you not accidentally? So there is something in us that doesn't seem to die down just by eating and sleeping. And it is just something more that we're going to try and explore and see whether we can make sense of. Yeah. So as you can see, this question that we had up there was why here all of us are here for similar and at the same time dissimilar reasons. We'll try and see how these different aspects are also integrated and how they make a coherent whole. So the second question that we have really is, what do you really want? It's not want. What do you want is you'll say break for lunch. What do you really want? Finally, आपको क्या चाहिए? Or what do you finally want? Really want and finally want. Both. You want happiness. What about the others? Because we don't have the audience mic, I'm going to repeat, because somebody's taken the effort to, set up this camera and also fund it and all that. So we'll have to do them justice till our second mic starts working. The guy will arrive. We'll also understand why Indian systems work like this. Yesterday he set up, so everything is working fine, the next day nothing works. Right? So we'll also try and understand why that happens in India. He put up a whole system, he's charging for it, but it won't work. Yeah. So although we'll understand humanness in human beings, what is this Indianness? Why are we like this only? You know, why is it that our sentences mean so less? Or in one part of the country it means less, in one part of it. So you want happiness. Yeah, what about the others? Answers. You want answers. Health, wealth, happiness, promotion and success. Even after retirement, he wants to get promoted even after he's retired. He's taken voluntary retirement. Yeah. I retired 3 months after my father. My father's retirement was 31st December 2009. I retired on 31st March 2010. So, yeah, that's another story. Maybe over tea or coffee. Yeah. Huh? Less conflicts. You want less. What you really want is less conflict. Inside or outside? Primarily inside. Sorry? You want a slow and contented life. Yeah. More gyan about yourself. Yeah, life has become so fast. There's so many things to do. In fact, even when you don't want to do something, the situation forces you. Like one of the things that I find is ever since I got that smartphone, you know, I was with, I'll tell you a little more about Nagarajji as we proceed. I won't make anything mystical because we want to only deal with those things that we can really understand. But I'll give you a small example. He had this ability to intuit. Let's just say some people are able to intuit things around them, understand things around them, and what may happen better because they have less clutter in their mind. You know, like for example, when you're disturbed within, and if somebody is trying to explain something to you, you think you'll be able to understand it? No, because आपका अंदर का clutter, that noise is not letting you really listen. The words are coming in, but nothing is registering. If you have a mind that is completely clear, crystal clear, right? So it has got no clutter, there's no cross connection. It's able to intuit. So it's listening to you at the same time. It's also cognizant of the wind. It's also seeing and saying, okay, it may rain, it may not rain. Like all of us are sitting here, we've forgotten the weather outside. We're just happy with the fact that it's not too hot, it's not too cold. So we had a function that was going to happen, and it was a big function, a big gathering of 500, 800 people, and it had rained the previous night. So we were very concerned because the function was in the open air, and the food was in the open air, and it was not supposed to rain. It was October in Amarkantak, which is the origin of the river Narmada. The dam in the Narmada was built in Gujarat. There is a book called the Narmada Damned, DAMNED. So dam se dam ho gaya. So one of my friends called me and he said, मैंने phone पे check किया है. I checked on the phone and the weather forecast says it's going to rain tomorrow. So you guys need to do make some other arrangement. I said it's 5 p.m. We can't do anything. It's a small place. We can't get a shamiana. So I went and checked with Nagaraj. I said, will it rain tomorrow? He said, 6 बजे का पहले नहीं होगा. Okay, and he slept off. So when this guy called back, he said, what happened? I said, nothing. I checked with him. He's saying it won't rain till 6, so let's just assume it won't rain till 6. He said, अबे forecast बता रहा है ना, SkyMet is saying, weather.com, everybody's saying it's going to rain like at 1 p.m. I said, तेरे पास smartphone है, मेरे पास smart man है. So there's only so much that a phone can do for you. And one of the things that we are trying to declutter is also our phones. That WhatsApp thing, right? I don't know why it came. I'm just hoping that it goes away somewhere. That everybody can go back to living without that damn thing. Yeah. Because with those green dots, you have to continue to, even if you don't want to, it bugs you. That's at 450. Either get out of the group or just make it 100. So cleaning up the phone has become a task every day. So what do I really want is, can be as simple. What about the others? What do you really want? आपने तो बता दिया आपका, है ना? So we will get there. Yeah. To take right decisions at right times in life. Yeah. That's one of the things. In fact, yeah, human living itself is so vast. We want to understand. We also want to make sense of things, larger picture. But what about day-to-day decisions? How do you interact with someone? What do you say at what time? Is there a law for that? I mean, why is it that we are constantly saying something wrong? In fact, as you grow older, these problems persist. Like, Suraj, how old are you? You're 33. You still don't have any problems, so that's nice. Um, you're okay with the problems. Yeah. But if you ask my daughter, for example, if she's 8, or ask their children, you ask them, you have any problem? They don't have any problem. You conduct these sessions, like we conduct these sessions, and people will talk of relationships and, the issues, and husband and wife and brother and sister. You take a 22-year-old boy, I'm not talking of women, we'll get to that. There seems to be a little difference between the way men and women function in some aspects. Although the construction of their mind is the same, we'll get to that also. We're all made or manufactured in the same way. You ask a 22-year-old and then say, I don't have any problems. You ask the same guy after 10 years, and he has a set of problems that didn't exist 10 years ago. Primarily like before marriage and getting into, or whatever today it's called relationships, in and out of relationships, which are also very painful. You ask them when they're 42 and 52, then they've had spent like 20 years with their in-laws and going home for Diwali or vacation, and then he has a whole set of new problems that didn't exist before, because those people didn't exist before. There was no mother-in-law, no father-in-law, there was no older son, no expectation. Yeah, beta sun nahi raha hai. I have a neighbor, badi IIT ka padha hai. Once we were walking, I hope he doesn't listen to the video later on. He said, Bhaiya, I said, bolo, कुत्ता पालना और बेटा पालना दोनों एक ही जैसा है. No, rearing a dog and rearing a son. I said, why? I said, both are very thankless. The dog eats. When the dog is hungry, it makes a big fuss. The moment it is eaten, it forgets me. बाद में बात नहीं सुनता है, right? And in fact, chances are that a trained dog will listen to you higher than when your son. So now this is a new problem. I mean, before the child is born, the problem I have is I don't have a child. After the child is born, the problem is I have to make it survive. The first 3 months, like any parent would know, are like it's like a daze. You don't know how those 3 months get passed, right? Waking up at night, and modern husbands wake up when the woman wakes up at night to nurse the child. And पहले तो सोते थे, आजकल modern husbands want to play a part in the family, so they're also waking up. They're also not getting sleep. Yeah, problems seem to increase. What about the others? What do you really want? And the second, do you have it? Are you fulfilled? Are you contented? If you put the first two questions, then the answer will be no, right? Because if you're contented, you wouldn't come here. If you were fine with whatever it is that you had, if I was fine, in fact, with whatever it was that I already have, then I probably wouldn't come here. We too made a long journey. Yeah. So are we really contented? What is the answer? In the Sanskrit, the Hindi Indian term, let's just call it the Indian term, because when you give it names of languages, and languages also create problems. The Indian term, let's just call it Indian subcontinent term, let's call it tripti. Are you tripped? Or are we tripped? And what is the answer? In some parts, yes, and no. He's largely fine. We're not. Suraj will become so conscious he'll run away tomorrow. He'll say, these people are after me to prove that I'm not happy, so मैं भाग जाता हूँ यहाँ से. Did you come by bike? You come by two-wheeler or by train? You came by bus. Then it'll be harder for you to get out. If you had a bike, you can just run away. You're from Kerala? Okay. Which part? Okay, Kozhikode. Halwa is very nice. Kozhikode and halwa? No, you don't like it? Rice halwa. They make a very nice halwa out of, it's maida. But it's supposed to be rice with coconut oil. It's maida only? Okay. Kozhikode and halwa is famous. Like shenga chutney here, which we'll get at lunch maybe. Moongfali ka chutney is famous in this region. Every region has its specialty that they eat with rice. Also in Andhra Pradesh. Anybody from Andhra here? No. India is an interesting place. So you can't understand what the other guy says and you still belong to the same constitution. You don't eat what the fellow eats. We still say that we're common. So we'll also talk about this. I mean, what really is identity? What does it mean to be Indian? Yeah, or Malayali and then Kozhikode and so on and so forth. And also here it's even more complex, right? Like for some reason we're not simple. we've got so many religions, and then we have subdivisions and subdivisions, and yeah, everybody wants to be at the lower rung of the ladder today, so it's easier to get a job. If you're at the higher rung of the ladder, it's harder to get a job. So everybody is now also protesting for, getting a job. It doesn't matter if my position is lost as long as I get a job. There is a thing happening in Maharashtra now. So what do we really want? And is a big question. So we know the things that we want in smaller duration. Like immediately we would want to break for lunch. You would want me to stop talking so you can get up and go for lunch, right? You may want to get a good night's sleep. A lot of you haven't had a proper night's sleep. You came by bus, you drove through the night. Others may have had some trouble adjusting to the new bed and all that. But what about the medium term ones? Yeah? So there are some medium term desires. The next 10, 20 years, what do I want to be? And what do I want out of my entire lifetime? Is a larger question. And we try to answer the larger one and then try to see how we can get answers to the smaller ones as well. So that's, and I'll also make a confession. I don't know what's going to come up on the slide. Okay. It's not that I've rehearsed the animation. We can easily do it without the PPT also. But like I said, partially we'll be able to cover a little more. Like you didn't want to get up from there. I too don't want to get up and go to the board constantly. So I'll continue to sit here and try to just, move my arms and see if we can get going. And, if you're not fulfilled, it means we have some problems. Yeah, we have some concerns and we have some problems. So what are you concerned with? And let me know when it's 5 minutes to lunchtime, because then we'll have time for the announcements and then break for lunch at 2. And also because it's our first day today, we don't have much for the open discussion, so we can come back and continue with the session and then take a call every day on, when to do the open discussion. I also secretly told somebody else that the 8:30 p.m. onward time that we said we'll have for free exchange, after 2 days, if I find that the content is going slowly, we'll gobble that up. Yeah, we'll eat that up for the content. Free exchange to ho hi raha. Everybody is talking and not getting anywhere. The whole world is discussing, right? Train mein baat kar rahe hain, bus mein baat kar rahe hain. Nobody is getting anywhere. They're just talking. So, what? Everybody talks. Everybody is talking all the time. They have so much to say. And that finally means nothing much. Communicating immediate. What are our concerns or our problems? Relationship is a big problem. For those of your age group, right? Some relationship. And we'll get to some of those and see what is the meaning of relationship and why issues occur. In fact, this particular proposal has a very, sometimes some sentences are very enchanting. Like somebody said they're naturopathy, you said yours. So one of the enchanting proposals, and I'm not in favor or against naturopathy, I'm just giving an example. It has a very enticing, not an enchanting, an enticing, enticing is jalebi latak rai kind of thing. Enticing proposal saying that your body is already in a nice kind of organization, in a nice vyavastha, and you're doing something wrong, which is why it constantly has some issue. If you stop doing that wrong thing, the body will become fine or will be fine. That's a very enticing proposal, because then this whole paraphernalia we have of medicine, and we have so many medical systems, we have allopathy, we have Ayurveda, we have homeopathy, all the pathies can be put aside. Right? You can get rid of the MRI machine, the CT scan, the diagnostics, the path lab, the chemical test. If you can just understand the system that the body wants and just ensure it. That's a very enticing thing. So this Jivan Vidya, and I'll explain as we go ahead what Jivan means, what Vidya means, what Darshan means, has a very enticing line. It basically says that any problem that you have as a human is because of a lack of understanding some aspect of some law of nature, some law of reality. So there is a law to relationship, and if you don't understand it, right, then you have a problem. Or if you think you understand it and you still have a problem, it means you haven't understood it fully or to the level to which it had to be understood. So, how to face death? It's approaching, yeah. And what does death mean? I mean, not a question that Suraj will be having. It will anyways happen, correct? So that's another way to why to face it. But the problem is, once you become aware, I remember a conversation that Gauri and I had before our marriage when we were, आजकल उसको courtship बोलते हैं ना, we were quoting each other on email, on Gmail. We never met. We didn't exchange pictures. हमने एक rule बनाया, we won't exchange pictures. Because if you like somebody by face and marry, the face tends to get boring after some time. Then when the problems come, the beautiful face will not help. So we said we'll exchange ideas, and then if we are agreeing with each other's ideas and vision for life, then we'll get married. So one of the things she said, I remember, she was in Bangalore, and she said that I wonder why we need to have these questions. I had asked her a question: what will you do after you die? मैंने क्वेश्चन पूछा था, and my laptop was open on the dining table, and I went away somewhere for some phone call. My father knew. My parents were excited because they thought finally he's agreed to marry. I was already 30, 31. They knew I was going to quit my job, and my father was like, "ये पागल है." He's telling the girl before he's getting married that he's going to quit his job. No girl will marry him. No father will let the girl marry this idiot. So we read that. When I came back, my parents were furious. I said, "What happened?" He said, "You have any sense? You are trying to get married to a girl and you are asking a question about death. Ashub. This kind of Ashub language. Who's going to marry you, you fool? I mean, why would you ask her about death?" And so she said, everybody outside seems to be happy. Yeah? And it's only some people who have these inquiries that are actually disturbed, and some can be tormented by it. It will not let you live. So I thought of a simile. I said, let's assume you're in a room and there is a snake. Okay? And you don't know, you're not aware that there is a snake. You won't have any problem. But the moment you become aware that there is a snake, can you now become unaware of it? No. The moment you know that there is a snake, so that answers your question. You're happy right now because that awareness, right? The awareness that there could be something which will take away this current state of being has not yet arrived. It may arrive when you're 18, it may arrive when you're 35. The day you were born, you arrive. Exactly. Right? So if one believes that everything will end with the body, then there is no issue, there is no torment. But for somebody who wants to persist or is just curious, कि इतना साल जी लिया, finally हुआ क्या? वजन बढ़ा है ना, your weight increased, right? And then the body shriveled, and then you build things. So one of the things we have to figure out is, what is this awareness? Where does it happen? Does it happen in the brain? Does it happen in a part of the brain? Is it in something else that people are calling the self? Yeah, exactly. So he has some theory of what happens after death. Although you don't think about it, you're saying that there has some energy. It's not. So that's the thing. And if you ask him, he may have a different answer. She may say that the Atma persists. If he believes in, or let's say he's a follower of Buddhism, he'll say nothing persists. It's the Anatma. Everything goes away. Somebody else may call it the soul. Somebody may say Ruh. Somebody may say everything just goes back. It's a set of cells. It's like a plant forms and a plant deforms. But for some reason, as humans, the idea of not existing is not acceptable to us. Okay? If the guy who believes that he is like a plant and he is going to decay is given the choice to continue to live, you think he'll take it? Or say, no, I want to be like a plant and go away. Okay? We'll have to talk and find out more. So we'll break for lunch now. We have some time for the quick year. We'll come back from lunch. We'll continue this. Today we'll have some open questions just to kind of ease into the subject matter. Okay? And then we'll continue. So yeah. Wait, we'll see that also. If you're not there, how will you know that you're not there? To know that I don't exist, you have to be there to see that I'm not there. You have to be there to see that you're not there. So who will see that you're not there? Huh? Nobody is there. Yeah, exactly. So if there something is written in tradition, we have to find out more about what it really means. So who's watching? Yeah, so that's one option. So we have a lot of options. One option is you cease to exist, right? The other option is you cease to exist and you don't realize that you have stopped existing. Yeah. The third option is कि रहता ही कुछ नहीं है, जस्ट लाइक जैसे ये पेड़ था वो मट्टी में चला गया, खत्म हो गया. दैट ट्री डजंट हैव एनी प्रॉब्लम कि मैं नहीं मरूंगा, मेरा बच्चे का क्या होगा. दैट ट्री, लुक एट दैट ट्री, दैट हैज नो इश्यू. व्हाट विल हैपन, नोबडी इज रिकॉग्नाइजिंग मी, नोबडी इज अवॉर्डिंग. वो ट्री को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कुत्ते को भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. Yeah, we have to find out then. That's another thing we have to find out, whether we know or the tree knows. Who plants whom? Does the tree plant the human or the human plants the tree? Human plants the tree. So itna to hai. We seem to be bigger. He's planted 3,000 trees. There is no tree that has grown 3,000 humans. है ना? So yeah, balance. Who's bigger? Balance of power we check karna hai. So we'll get into all this. Hopefully we'll be able to arrive at some, decent kind of place. Yeah. जी जी आप माइक ले लेंगे प्लीज. हाँ ठीक है, ಇದು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಯ್ತು. ಇದು ಲಂಚ್. हाँ